For some fucking reason, my dumbass didn't make an intro, so this is the intro. Hi, hello. I'm going to make a disclaimer first. Yeah, that's it.
This disclaimer in the beginning is really freaking long. If you just want to move on to like figuring out how you can get cheap ass old clothes, then go directly here. Because I'm going to talk a bit about what's important to know about old clothing and not where to find it first. Go there if you just want to find clothes. Go there. First of all, I gotta say there's some stuff that you need to know about alternative clothing. Some different clothing items have specific meanings. Like, for example, if you have Doc Martens, the way you lace your boots, like what color you use, there's something called lace coating. So if you use the wrong colors, other punks will see you and be like, fuck, that's a white supremacist. I'ma go punch that Nazi. So just so you are aware, there's also a lot of different things in general in all communities where clothing represents or means specific things. And all community is basically music, political beliefs, and clothing. Like if you don't have all three, you are not a part of that alt community. That's why I, for example, even though I am very inspired by goth clothing and I love goth clothing, I would never say I was a part of that community because I don't listen to goth music. But on the other hand, I listen to punk music and I listen to emo music and I dress according ish, not always, mainly according to that style and I follow those political beliefs. So therefore, if people ask me, hey, what alt genre or subculture are you? I normally answer that I'm a mix of everything, but my subcultures are emo and punk. Like, I'm not going to bore you guys with like all the different things, because hopefully if you've gotten this far to now wanting to expand your your wardrobe, that you know a bit. If you know nothing about it, please just do a bit of research, because you can easily end up wearing something that has a huge meaning that you don't know anything about, and then it's not fun wearing something and not knowing what the fuck that thing means. Like safety pins and certain necklaces and stuff like that have different meanings. Also, very important, I don't care what the fuck you say or anybody has ever told you, your political opinion matters. You cannot be alt and be conservative. You cannot. That literally goes against. Again, alt is politics, clothing, and music. It's a culture. The politics is a part of that culture. If you don't agree with the politics, then you're not alt. Then you just dress alternative from the normal style. Like you can dress like a punk, but you will not be a punk because of your political beliefs. Anyway, I just feel like I had to make that disclaimer. This is not going to be... I'm going to move on. I just wanted to get that out of the way. There's some alt subunits where buying just normally from a store is like very... it's not against the subculture, it's just very uncommon in the subculture, and like the entire idea of the style in that subculture is like not buying directly from a shop. For example, punk clothing, don't, like, most of it shouldn't be, you can buy a bit from a store, but most of it shouldn't. I think like the four ways of getting punk or grunge, because grunge is the same, and there's also that kindercore style. Like those, if I remember right, it's like either you thrift it, you get it gifted. Normally, I don't get gifted clothes in like presents. Somebody are like, I hate this clothes item. I don't want it anymore. Do you want it? And I take it. Either to make it into something new, just to wear it. Some of my favorite things I have thrifted or been gifted. Like these pants right here. Ugh. My best friend gave them to me because she no longer wanted them. Anyway, thrifted, gifted, stolen. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, stealing is okay. But I will say, If it's a chain, it's free range. If you know what that means, then you know what that means. Borrowing can be excused. Okay. And fourth is clearance, like buying things on sale or with. Because most big clothing companies, if for example, if you see a shirt in H&M and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, and you go to that clearance space and you see that shirt, sure, you can buy it because big clothing brands like H&M, they end up throwing it out anyway. And that's not punk. We don't like fucking ruining the environment. That's not punk. So yeah, but there's a lot of subcultures where it's okay to go down to the store. For example, emo. I'm a part of that subculture. What do you know that it's really combined with emo clothing? Yes, that's right. Hot Topic. Literally a store created for the emos. Actually, I think it was created for goths to begin with. And then it just became more and more soft. I know. This disclaimer was way too long. If you don't want to do any DIYing or thrifting and you just want the clothes right now, and you don't mind supporting fast fashion or like a big brand, because they are normally the cheapest ones, and of course I'm talking about getting cheap stuff here, then you can go to H&M and Zara and whatsoever, all that stuff. Because surprise, surprise, especially H&M surprises me. They have a lot of new goth stuff. Like you can easily make some cool ass goth outfits from H&M. So if you just really want that, then you can go and do that. No, I don't. They don't have that much goth or all clothing in the men's section, or like the boys or teenage guys section. But they do in the women's section now. If I was more comfortable wearing women's clothing, I would definitely buy a lot of my clothes there, even though it's not punk. But I have no money. Ugh. There's options. You can go to H&M and find cool ass clothes. You just need to know what you're looking for. I normally go to Pinterest and kind of figure out what I'm looking for before everything. But in general, I don't like shopping all clothing because I always end up disappointed. But if you feel like none of the clothing is good enough, then remember, it is October, right? It's October, which means Halloween stuff will be out. So you can find some more alt thing. You can find skeleton things and vampire things and something that's a bit more on the creepier side, which not all alt styles are creepy, but a lot of them are more into like the dark side.
And let's not forget that a lot of people use alt culture as costumes, which alt culture isn't costumes, don't do that. But you can find stuff because the media just thinks, haha, black, I'm so itchy and dark and scary now. Woo. So you can find stuff. But like, it will probably not be ethical.
So you can either look for that during October or in the clearance right in the beginning of November if you want it even cheaper. Next part, which should be the most obvious part, because this is now we get to where most alt people get their clothing from. Like if you're a proper alt person, thrifting. Like thrift, honey, thrift. Oh my god. I get that it can be hard to find alt clothing in a thrift store, but yeah, I have went to so many thrift stores, and it's fine to just look around. I kind of know when something is alt or when something isn't alt, in my opinion, or whether or not I will like it or not from like far away. So I just look through everything, and then I like looking at all the cute ass dumb shit. I got 2 small Hello Kitties, and you can also find things that you can DIY with. Like, for example, I found. I'm just going to have to. I wanted a necklace that said ACAP on it, and I wanted a pig or something on it. So I just went to. What's it called? I went to a thrift store, went over to the clothing aisle, and found some bead letters and a pig. And now I have a pig. And honestly, DIY, it doesn't even have to be good. It's not even difficult. And I tied it onto some safety pins. You end up loving the things that you make yourself more than anything. If you don't want to thrift specifically to find clothing, you can thrift to DIY. Because DIY is also a big ass part of being punk. Whether it is taking a shirt and ripping it up so it looks cool and shit, whether it's that or taking an old pair of pants and sewing new stuff on it, or making patch pants or something, DIY is the key in so many genres. Like, for example, I hated these pants, right? They were too short, I didn't like them, and I also had a flannel that I hated because it didn't fit right. So I just took the flannel and decided to add it onto here. But like, this is one of my favorite clothing items that I've made myself. I have also gone to actual goth and punk stores and stuff like that and bought stuff, but it is expensive. It's extremely expensive, but being old doesn't have to be. Like this old fishnet that I just cut off. Ow. Socks, my dad's that I got. Necklace, maybe I borrowed it. This one I got on clearance, and the pants again gifted. Also, the clothes that you get doesn't necessarily have to be old. Some of my favorite clothing items are very normie, but can easily be made to look more alternative. For example, my brother gave me a leather jacket. My brother gave me his old leather jacket because it started like getting torn up in the sleeves and stuff like that. To prevent getting torn up in the sleeves, I just added a shit ton of safety pins. And on the back, a huge anarchist A with Black Lives Matter written under it. This is just a H&M jacket that my brother didn't want anymore, so I decided to paint on it and add safety pins. Like, that's some good shit. But like, in general, DIY as much as possible, thrift shop as much as possible. If anything, if you only have a little bit of money and you don't know what to buy, cause I would say go for some cheap shirts on clearance. And again, you can find some cool ass shirts in H&M if you really want to go cheap, or you can go to actual punk websites, actual alt websites, or here's what I personally think makes an outfit the most alt. I've said alt so many times. Accessories. Like, you can wear very normal outfit, but if you add the right accessories, like you can wear black jeans and a gray shirt, very boring outfits. Add some chains, maybe a spiked choker, a belt like this, and some chains up here as well. And then it's an alt outfit. Also, I've started getting really into makeup. Again, not normal makeup, but like alt makeup, because that really adds a lot. Like something as small as just adding like black eyeshadow right around the eyes, that alone can make you look so much more alternative if that's what you're going for. So yes, to summarize, H&M actually has some cool ass stuff, but try and buy it on clearance. You can buy cool clothes in normie stores. But if you do, and it's fast fashion and stuff like that, try buying it on clearance. Or now, when it's Halloween time, or right after Halloween time, try going after some of the more spooky stuff in the stores. Go thrifting. Oh my god, go thrifting. 3, hopefully you have family members or friends that can gift you stuff. Or last but not least, and the most important most important that I personally think, DIY. Like, there's nothing better than like having a style that nobody else can replicate. Not in that, oh my god, I'm so quirky kind of way, more in that's all clothing is DIYing. All clothing was made for people who didn't have the money. They had to DIY, they had to go thrifting, they had to wear the same old clothes for a long time. They had to use whatever they had on hand. For example, again, sewing old pants and shirts together, or taking an old leather jacket that they found or was given. Like, some of my favorite things I have either made myself, thrifted, or been gifted. Nothing beats that. That goes for more than just clothing, even if you wanna spice up your room a bit. Like, this little bunny here is one of the favorite things I have ever made. I find it so fucking cute. And it's made out of nothing but socks. But I will say, if you don't have money, if you don't know what to invest in, accessories does a lot for an outfit, and makeup. And doesn't have to be good makeup. Literally all the makeup that I own are black eyeshadow and a palette that I bought, a 9-color palette that I bought 2 years ago. That's it, and some eyeliner. That's all you need. I hate when I hear people say, oh, all clothing is so expensive. Yes, if you buy it from a store, but that's not the point in alt clothing. You can support alt companies. Again, I got this one from an alt company. But you don't have to. That's not how alt clothing were created. It was created by the person. I hope that helped out some new baby alts. I'm saying that as if I have been alt for like 10 years. What? I started dressing alt when I was 12 because I wanted to be emo so fucking bad. So like 6 years. I've been dressing alt for 6 years. If you have any more ideas and stuff like that, please say something in the comments so everybody can enjoy your wisdom. And if I said anything wrong about a subculture, please correct me, because I'm not the master of all subcultures. There's a lot of things about a lot of subcultures that I don't know too much of, but I try to educate myself. And you should too! Anyway, have a good day. Thank you for watching. That was awkward. I apologize.